Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So glad that you were able to come out with us and to hang out with us this afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome to each one of you. We want to say welcome to our panelists. Thank you very much for joining us. We have with us today Diane Klein, Jody Malley, Lorraine Scott Oblate, and Sharon Sutherland, who is standing in her husband's stead and supporting him in his business. So we are really excited about today's topic. We're going to be discussing the power of acknowledging your successes. Oftentimes in business, we have many, many failures that we go through. And what we've studied and what we've learned so far is that the average millionaire that became a millionaire was not a millionaire in the beginning. They had many, many, many failures. So we want to empower you and encourage you to acknowledge your successes, because our mind is always going to want us to focus on the negative. Our goal is to get you to focus on the positive. So today we're going to read for about 15 minutes straight, and then we're going to do like a powwow, a mastermind session at the end, because we're going to be leaving out a little early. We have some outsourcing training that we're going to be going to. So we want to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to move out of the way, and I want to ask anyone on the panel if they would like to start reading for us.
I can, since I think my mic is open.
Thank you, Jody.
All right, so we're at principle number 26, acknowledge your positive past. I look back on my life like a good day's work. It is done and I am satisfied with it. Grandma Moses, American folk artist who lived 101 years. Most people in our culture remember their failures more than their successes. It's the result of the leave 'em alone, zap 'em approach to parenting, teaching, and management that is so prevalent in our culture. When you were a young child, your parents left you alone when you were playing and being cooperative, and then zapped you when you made too much noise, were a nuisance, or got into trouble. You probably received a perfunctory good job when you got A's, but got a huge lecture when you got C's and D's, or, God forbid, an F. In school, most of your teachers marked the answers you got wrong with an X, rather than marking the ones you got right with a check mark or a star. In sports, you got yelled at when you dropped the football or the baseball. There was almost always more emotional intensity around your errors, mistakes, and failures than there was around your successes. Because the brain more easily remembers events that were accompanied by strong emotions, most people underestimate and underappreciate the number of successes they've had in relation to the number of failures they've had. One of the ways to counteract this phenomenon is to consciously focus on and celebrate your successes. One of the exercises I do in my corporate seminars is to have the participants each share a success they have had in the past week. It's always amazing to see how difficult this is for so many people. Many people don't think that they've had any successes. They can easily tell you 10 ways they messed up in the last 7 days, but have a much harder time telling you 10 victories they had. The sad truth is that we all have more victories than failures. It's just that we set the bar too high for what we call a success. A participant in the Goals, Gaining Opportunities and Life Skills program I developed to help people get off welfare in California actually asserted that he didn't have any successes. When I inquired about his accent, he told us that he had left Iran when the Shah was toppled in 1979. He had moved his whole family to Germany, where he had learned German and become a car mechanic. More recently, he had immigrated his whole family to the United States, had learned English, and was now in a program learning to be a welder. But he didn't think he had any successes. When the group asked him what he thought a success was, he replied that it was owning a home in Beverly Hills and driving a Cadillac. In his mind, anything less than that was not an achievement. Slowly, with a little coaching, he began to see that he had many success experiences every single week. Simple things such as getting to work on time, getting into the Goals program, learning to speak English, providing for his family, and buying his daughter her first bicycle were all successes. Do you want me to keep going?
No, Jody. Anyone else? Thank you very much, Jody, for reading. Anyone else want to pick up? Okay, I'll do this, and then when you're ready,
Okay.
go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead.
The poker chip theory of self-esteem and success. So why am I making such a big deal about acknowledging your past successes? The reason it is so important is because of its impact on your self-esteem. Imagine for a moment that your self-esteem is like a stack of poker chips. Then imagine that you and I are playing a game of poker and you have 10 chips and I have 200 chips. Who do you think is going to play more conservatively in the game of poker? Yes, you are. If you lose two bets of 5 chips, you're out of the game. I could lose 5 chips 40 times before I'm out of the game. So I'm going to take more risk because I can afford to take the loss. Your level of self-esteem works the same way. The more self-esteem you have, the more risk you are willing to take. Research has shown over and over again that the more you acknowledge your past successes, the more confident you become in taking on and successfully accomplishing new ones. You know that even if you failed, it won't destroy you because your self-esteem is high. And the more risk, the more you win in life. The more shots you take, the more chances you have of scoring. Knowing that you have successes in the past will give you the self-confidence that you can have more successes in the future. So let's look at some simple but powerful ways to build and maintain a high level of confidence and self-esteem. Begin with 9 major successes. Here's a simple way to begin an inventory of your major successes. Consider also doing this exercise with your spouse or whole family. Start by dividing your life into 3 equal time periods. For example, if you are 45 years old, your 3 time periods would be from birth to 15, 16 to 30, and 31 to 45. Then list the 3 successes you have for each time period. To help you get started, I've listed my own below. First third, birth to age 20. Elected patrol leader in the Boy Scouts. Caught winning touchdown passes in to win city championship game. Admitted to Harvard University. Second third, age 20 to 40. Earned my master's degree in education from the University of Massachusetts. Published my first book. Founded the New England Center for Personal and Organizational Development. Final third, age 40 to 60. Founded self-esteem seminars. Chicken Soup for the Soul hit #1 on the New York bestsellers list and achieved goals of having spoken professionally in over 50 states. Want me to continue? Count your list 100 success. Can you list 100 successes?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I couldn't get to the mute button fast enough.
Oh, okay.
Anyone else want to come out and read? Can you list 100
I
successes?
can read.
Thank you, Diane.
Can you list 200 successes? To really convince yourself that you're a successful person who can continue to achieve great things, complete the next step of this exercise and list 100 or more of your life successes. My experience is that most people do fine coming up with the first 30 or so. Then it becomes a little bit more difficult. To come up with 100, you are going to have to list things like learning to ride a bicycle, singing a solo at church, getting your first summer job, the first time you got a hit in Little League, making the cheerleading squad, getting your driver's license, writing an article for your school newspaper, getting an A, and Mr. Simpson's history class, surviving basic training, learning to surf, winning a ribbon at the county fair, modifying your first car, getting married, having your first child, and leading a fundraising campaign for your child's school. There are all things you probably take for granted now, but they all need to be acknowledged as successes along your life's journey. Depending on your age, you may even need to resort to writing down past first grade, past second grade, past third grade. But that's okay. The goal is simply to get to 100. Create a victory log. Another powerful way to keep adding to that stack of poker chips is to keep a written record of your successes. It can be as simple as running a list in a spiral-bound notebook or a document on your computer, or it can be as elaborate as a leather-bound journal. By recalling and writing down your successes each day, you log them into your long-term memory, which enhances your self-esteem and builds your self-confidence. And later, if you need a boost of self-confidence, you can reread what you've written. Peter Thigpen, a former vice president in Levi Strauss & Co., kept such a victory log on his desk, and every time he had a victory or a win, he wrote it down. And when he was about to do something scary, such as negotiate for a multi-million-dollar bank loan or make a speech to the board of directors, he would read his victory log to build up his self-confidence. His list included entries such as, I opened up China as a market. I got my teenage son to clean up his room. And I got the board to approve the new expansion plan. When most people are about to embark on some frightening task, they have a tendency to focus on all the times they tried before and didn't succeed, which undermines their self-confidence and feeds their fear that they will fail again. Keeping and referring to your victory log keeps you focused on your success instead. Start your own victory log as soon as possible. If you want, you can also embellish it like a scrapbook with photos, certificates, memos, and other reminders of your success.
Thank you very much, Diane. Anyone else want to come out and read? Okay, I can pick up here. Okay, it says display your success symbols. Research have discovered that what you see in your environment has a psychological impact on your moods, your attitude, and your behavior. Your environment has a great deal of influence over you. But here's an even more important fact. You have almost total control over your immediate environment. You get to choose what pictures are hung on your bedroom or office wall, what memorable gets taped in your refrigerator or locker door, and what momentums you place on your desk or in your cubicle at work. A valuable technique that will help build your self-esteem and motivate you to greater future success is a practice of surrounding yourself with awards, pictures, and other objects that remind you of your successes. These might include medals from your armed service days, a picture of you scoring the winning touchdown, your wedding picture, a trophy, a framed copy of the poem you had published in a local newspaper, a letter of thanks, your college diploma, or your Eagle Scout badge or Girl Scout Gold Awards. Make a special place, a special shelf, the top of your dresser, the refrigerator door, a victory wall, in a hallway you pass through every day, and fill it with your success symbols. Cleaning out this special drawer, those boxes in the closet, your files, then frame, laminate, polish, and display those symbols of your success so that you will see them every single day. This will have a powerful effect on your subconscious mind. It will subtly program you to see yourself as a winner, someone who has consistent success in life. It will also convey this message to others. It will instill confidence in you and in others for you. This is also a great thing to do for your children. Proudly display their success symbols as well, their paintings, their ribbons, their artwork, their photographs of them in their baseball uniform or playing the violin, photographs of them enjoying themselves, trophies, medals, and other rewards. If you have children living at home, frame their best artwork and hang it on the wall of the kitchen, their room, in the hallway in the house. When they see these frames on the wall, it can be a major boost of their self-esteem. Wow, that was powerful. The more exercise you are living in magnet, when you attract into your life is in harmony with the dominant thoughts. Brian Tracy, leading authority of the development of human potential of personal effectiveness. Just as you acknowledge your big success, you need to acknowledge your small daily successes too. The mirror exercise is based on the principle that we all need acknowledgement, but the most important acknowledgement is the acknowledgement we give ourselves. The mirror exercise gives your subconscious mind the positive strokes it needs to pursue further achievement, and it helps change any negative beliefs you have toward praise and accomplishments, which puts you in an achieving frame of mind. Do this exercise for a minimum of 3 months. After that, you can decide whether you want to continue. I know some very successful people who have been doing this every night for years. Just before going to bed, stand in front of a mirror and appreciate yourself for all that you have accomplished during the day. Start with a few seconds of looking directly into the eye of the person in the mirror, your mirror image looking back at you. Then address yourself by name and begin appreciating yourself out loud for the following things: any achievements, business, financial, educational, personal, physical, spiritual, and emotional. Any personal disciplines you kept: dietary, exercise, reading, meditation, prayer. Any temptation that you did not give in to: eating desserts, lying, watching too much TV, staying up too late, drinking too much. Maintain eye contact with yourself through the exercise. When you're finished appreciating yourself, complete the exercise by continuing to look deep in your eyes and saying, "I love you." Then stand there for another few seconds to really feel the importance of the experience. As if you were the one in the mirror who had just listened to all of this appreciation. The trick during the last part is to not just turn away from the mirror feeling embarrassed or thinking of yourself or the exercise as stupid or silly. Here's an example of what your exercise might look like. Jack, I want to appreciate you for following things today. First, I want to appreciate you for going to bed on time. Last night, without staying up too late watching TV, so that you got up bright and early this morning and you had a really good conversation with Inga. And then you meditated for 20 minutes before you took a shower. You helped with getting the kids' lunch together, and you ate a healthy, low-fat, low-carb breakfast. You got to work on time and led a very good staff meeting with your support team. You did a great job helping everyone listen to everybody's feelings and ideas, and you were great at drawing out the quiet ones. Let's see. Oh, then you ate a really healthy lunch, soup and salad, and you didn't have the dessert that was offered. And you drank the 10 glasses of water that you committed to drinking every day. And then, let's see, you finished editing the new staff orientation manual, and you got a really good start on scheduling the summer management training program. And then you filled in your daily success focus journal before you left work. Oh, and you appreciated your assistant for all her contributions for the day. It was great to see how she just lit up. When you got home, you spent quality time with the kids, especially Christopher. And then you read a book to all the kids. That was really special. And now you're going to bed at a good time and not staying up all night surfing the internet. You were great today. And one more thing, Jack, I love you. It's not unusual to have a number of reactions the first times you do this. You might feel silly, embarrassed, like crying, or actually begin or just feeling uncomfortable. Occasionally, people have even reported breaking out in hives, feeling hot and sweaty, or feeling a little lightheaded. These are natural and normal reactions, as this is a very unfamiliar thing to be doing. We are not trained to acknowledge ourselves. In fact, we are mostly trained to do the opposites. Don't toot your own horn. Don't get a swelled head. Don't get a stuffed shirt. Pride is a sin, and you begin to act more positive and nurturing towards yourself. Now, as you begin to act more positive and nurturing towards yourself, it's natural to have a physical and emotional reaction as you release the old negative parental wounds, unrealistic expectations, and self-judgment. If you experience any of these things, and not all people do, don't let these things stop you. They're only temporary and will pass after a few days of doing the exercise. The first time I did this exercise, after just 40 days, I noticed that all my negative internal talk had totally vanished, crowded out by the daily positive focus of the mirror exercise. I used to berate myself for things like misplacing my car keys or my glasses, That critical voice just simply disappeared. The same kind of thing can happen for you, but only if you take the time to actually do the exercise. One note to remember: if you find yourself lying in bed realizing you haven't done the mirror exercise yet, get out of your bed and do it. Looking at yourself in the mirror is a crucial part of the exercise. And one last bit of advice: be sure to let your spouse, your children, your parents know in advance that you'll be doing this exercise each evening for the next 3 months or more. You don't want them to walk in on you and think you have lost your mind. Oh, anyone want us to pick up a reward your inner child?
I'll be happy.
Oh, you know what? I didn't realize it's 12:22, Lorraine. I'm sorry, I just looked at the clock. Let's do a quick powwow mastermind on what we've read. Anyone want to come out and share their thoughts on what we read today?
This is actually something that my husband and I have put into practice in the last few years with our kids, where we noticed that, you know, with the older kids or us in school, that all the negative stuff was kind of, you know, told to our children. So we decided with our last two kids a few years ago that after we had parent-teacher interviews and stuff, what we would go home and talk about at home was really just congratulating them for all the good stuff that they were really good at, and just casually mention, you know, you can improve in those other areas, but we're so proud that you love math and it's your favorite subject. To our daughter, you can improve in some areas, but we love that you are so creative and that you love doodling everywhere, even on her math. So, so, you know, the more that we encourage our kids and their strong points, we found the more that in those areas that they've been a bit behind, they've caught up on, because we've praised them so much for their good points and what they've accomplished, that the stuff that they've fallen behind has just naturally caught up.
Awesome, Jody. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share their takeaways or anything that's going to help those listening in regards to acknowledging your successes?
The one thing that I thought was pretty good that we read about was acknowledging your successes, minor or major successes, and they said do an exercise of listing your top 100 successes and break it down to your life in thirds, and sit down and make sure that you get to a list of 100. I thought that was pretty powerful, because you don't think the little things that you do are successes, but everything that you do to get over the hurdle is a success. And then create a victory log of the things that you have achieved, so that to build your self-confidence and your self-esteem. And then you go back before you're getting ready to embark on something new and review what you have accomplished to boost your self-esteem. I thought that was pretty powerful as well.
Wow, great information, Sharon. And you know, and to add to that, Sharon, one of the other things that was read and was mentioned was the power of, you know, having so many victories listed before you, and using the analogy of poker chips. You know, if you're playing, I don't play poker, but I mean, I would only imagine it's like any other game. The more, you know, the more something you have, the longer you'll be able to stay in the game. So here, you know, the more successes you have, the more powerful your self-esteem is, and the more powerful that your self-esteem is, as bumps come, and they will come. You know, it's a part of life. It's a part of business. But as they come, because you have that reserve of successes, you're able to weather the storm and be able to eventually be able to, you know, achieve your goals and your dreams. And that is so crucial to be able to do that, because most people don't understand it. There are going to be some, you know, you're going to fall. You'll be just like, you know, when you first start out doing something, it's just like a baby. You know, a baby starts out, they start crawling. Well, actually, they start out scooting. And then they get to crawling, and then they're pulling up, and then they fall, and then they fall. And eventually they stand up, and they continue to stand up. Well, it's the same way in business. And again, the more, like we know, when the baby is doing that, we're getting excited. We're clapping our hands for them. We're really, you know, congratulating them on the next step that they made. We want to do the same thing for ourselves as we continue to pursue our dreams and our goals as an entrepreneur and just in life, period. So with that being said, I don't want to leave anyone out. Does anyone else want to come out and say something before we close the hangout out?
Rachel, I just wanted to quickly say, for the last 6 years in our growing process with my husband and I, we've actually developed the look in the mirror at yourself and see what's there. So it is a very, very powerful assignment. And just lately, I just talked to Jody the other day. I said, I'm actually starting to implement it into my business, and I'm telling myself my goals in the mirror every day now.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. You know what, Diane, what I want to do is I want to challenge each one of us to do the mirror exercise. How many of us are, whether you're listening in, let us know. Are you willing, on the panel, are you willing to commit to doing the mirror exercise? I am. I can do that for the next 3 months because I see the power in it. And if a millionaire is telling me to do it, then I'm going to do it just because he told me to do it, not because, because evidently they know something that we still have yet to learn. So I want to encourage each one of us to look in the mirror and tell ourselves. And I think they said do it at nighttime, so I thought that was pretty good too. So we can get back with our accountability partners on it. Sharon says she's committed to doing it. Anyone else want to say that? You don't have to tell us right now, but if there's nothing else, we just want to say thank you very much for coming out to hanging out with us today. We really, really appreciate you. We look forward to hearing about your successes. As a matter of fact, we'd like to hear. Leave us a comment below and tell us about the successes that you have had in your life. And think back, you need to start and break it up, because most of us don't. It's just those little things. And if you don't have the book, I want to encourage you to get back with the person that invited you to the hangout and get their Amazon link. And they'll give it to you, and go get the book and come along and read it with us. This is a really, really powerful book. Also, I want to invite you to come over to Fearless Online Entrepreneurs. If you have questions about being an entrepreneur, join us, leave your question in there, and one of us will be glad to get back with you and help you answer your questions and help you get to where you are going. And last but not least, if you're looking for a business opportunity, you're looking to get started online, I want you to connect back with the person who invited you, and they will help you to find a business that is suitable, and they won't leave you. I can tell you, each one of these ladies on this panel are committed to helping you to get to where you desire to go. If nothing else is said, I just want to say thank you very much. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place.